it's education. We like the can. There's one less thing to break. There's no labeling machine that breaks. They're pre-printed. It's nice.
All right, so you just learned a few tips and tricks and heard about some brew legends. Now we're opening the floodgates with the can or bottle debate. After that, we'll talk about maintaining consistency.
The question we get a lot is, why are we in a can? And Oscar Blues decided to do a can years ago, first craft brewery to do so. And they started breaking down the stigma that canned beer is your cheap, bottom of the barrel type of stuff. And it doesn't let light in. When you purge from the bottom up with pre-purge, you evacuate the oxygen in the can. It's a straight shot. Where a bottle's got the bottleneck shape. When you put CO2 in and you're evacuating from the bottom up, you're vortexing in that bottle, and you've got a little outlet to. You're pulling air in as you're evacuating because it's a venturi. Versus the can, it's pretty much straight from. There's less oxygen gets in as you get the oxygen out. So you start with less dissolved oxygen in your final packaged product, which is going to give you a longer shelf life. And it's essentially a mini keg. If you want to get into BPE, which is the epoxy coating that lines the can, it's the same coating that's on the bottom of a bottle cap. There's no way around it. So whether you're bottling beer or canning, people think, oh, canned beers are lined, it tastes weird. There's more BPE in the bottle cap than there is in the entire can. Granted, it touches the can the whole time it's in contact with all the walls of the can. You're still splashing and hitting that bottle cap through transport and whatnot. So there's contact, and it's education. We like the can. There's one less thing to break. There's no labeling machine that breaks. They're pre-printed. It's nice. I love the cans. It's lighter. You know how loud it would be right now if we were bottling? We'd like...
Personal preference.
Can. Oh, love it. I grew up on the beach, so it's always been about cans on the beach. If it were legal.
Most tasting rooms are doing growlers. We don't send and will not send growlers pre-packaged off-site. There was a recent change in law that allows you to sell growlers at farmers markets. That might be something we'll look at, but they're not meant as a long-term storage vessel, and the ways of filling them don't really encourage that either. There tends to be high oxygen uptake in growler filling. We're looking to start bottling by hopefully the end of February. But it's very labor intensive, and you have to have a lot of specialized equipment for it. I prefer to fill kegs and casks personally. I like supporting bars and restaurants, and bottles are okay for some places, but I'd rather have them have draft beer. It's better for them to keep fresh, and can be more difficult for bar owners, bar managers to mishandle keg beer. And yeah. Cask ale is a completely different story. We don't send casks off-site anymore because of poor service at these places. Lots of bar owners pretend like they know everything that there is to know about beer, and they have hardly scratched the surface. There's a lot of research on both sides and lots of pros and cons on either side. My feeling is that glass is infinitely recyclable. As far as I know, almost all aluminum cans right now, at least even if they have a high post-consumer recycled product in that, are still going to contain some virgin aluminum. Plus there's a can liner in there that makes it a little bit more difficult to recycle, yada yada. But as far as I know, glass is infinitely recyclable. It's a little bit heavier, but the recyclability offsets that. And I think the package looks a little bit better, and all of our products are going to be bottle conditioned. My assumption with most people purchasing cans is that they're expecting a filtered or at least very low sediment in the packaged beer. I've seen some cans that are naturally carbonated, and I find that really unattractive. So my expectation with consumers buying any product in package of ours at least would be pouring it into a glass. They don't have to, but if there's sediment in a can, it's just they're going to dump the whole can in, and then there's going to be all this like yeast material in there, and they're going to be like, what the heck? They got a nasty beer from McLeod, and then they're going to dump it out. Whereas a bottle, consumers are getting more used to seeing bottle conditioned products, and will hopefully, especially with our note on there, we'll know that it's been naturally carbonated to expect yeast at the bottom, and we'll decant accordingly, or not, just right in the bottle. But then it's their choice. We've put everything reasonable in front of the consumer so that they can then make a choice on that, rather than the surprise pouring the can into the glass and it looks like mud.
Let's talk about bottling versus can. You guys can.
Correct.
You guys do in cask fermentation?
We're eventually going to be bottling.
Be a bottle? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with the can. Why do you think the can is the way to go, per se?
I love it because it comes already pre-printed, palletized, ready to go. Lower oxygen pickup in the packaging process, zero light, quieter, and it can go poolside, golf course.
Yeah.
It's just a very convenient package.
Cool. And why the bottle with you guys?
It's just a decision right now because we can't afford a canning line where we could guarantee low oxygen pickup in cans. The pre-printing, we can't be purchasing a full pallet of one specific branded thing right now. We're just too new and hesitant to lean exclusively on one brand.
It's brutal. Cash flow is just sitting in empty cans of a brand, a specific brand.
Yeah. And we're also doing the whole natural carbonation, and my personal feeling is that I don't want to naturally carbonate in a can, because my understanding is most people drinking out of a can, or a significant portion of people buying cans, aren't going to pour it into a glass and aren't going to expect it to be naturally carbonated, so they're going to pour the whole thing in and then be like, what the hell, there's chunks of stuff floating in my beer. McLeod clearly make terrible beer. And so it's a presentation thing, and I feel like it's on the labels, but I think there's a certain amount of expectation now that from a smaller brewery that bottle conditioning is more common. So it's just kind of the way we are right now with that. I'm not against moving to cans at all. But it's just not in the cards for us right now, especially our production methods. No bright tanks, no filtration, and we don't have tanks that we can pressure push. So it's got a gravity flow out of there, and then an inline pump, so we can't. It limits us a little bit, so it's kind of it's a convenience thing. It's a little bit of a perception thing.
Well, I'm going the plastic bottle route.
That's
okay with my own.
The Russian market's huge on plastic bottled beer.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no reason not to, really, apart
right.
from moving away from petroleum products.
It's weird. It's like a soda bottle, though. It's just
Gets
like
into
a dark
stadiums,
soda
though.
bottle. That's true too. And I got carbonation tablets. I'm supposed to add 2 into each one and let it go in the bottle there and see.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't
find
explode.
out.
Yeah.
They can handle a pretty high pressure, though.
Supposedly, we'll see.
I don't remember what soda's carb to. It's like 3 vol.
Yeah, when you feel that 2 liter and it doesn't even flex. There's a definite pressure.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. You see the difference between craft beer cans and a soda can. You squeeze it. Craft beer cans, you can actually squeeze it because the carbonation level is so much lower.
Right.
So ours would be mushy. Their carbonation level is so low.
That's cool.
I can brew water in our beer cans for my daughters.
Yeah.
And it is, it's just flim. That's how I know. That's how I know they're drinking water when they grab one. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Still carbonation in there. That's cool. That's cool.
I would say we probably have to work about twice as hard to ensure consistency in the product, because we don't have our heating is a little bit inconsistent. We can't control tank volumes as accurately. Our measurement equipment isn't as good. We have a couple of like toys, like we have a good bench pH meter. We regularly get water testing. We have an alkalinity meter. These are all kind of like small tools, but they kind of get us on the path of ensuring consistency.